Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is the second part of the ruched dress. In the first part we made the pattern, and in today's tutorial we'll be sewing it. So if you haven't seen that tutorial, the link to that video will be in the description. I'm sorry this video is airing today instead of Wednesday. I had a situation, so I was late on editing. If this is your first time watching my video, you're highly welcome. I do sewing tutorials, pattern drafting, DIYs, neat finishes on garments, and some lifestyle videos. I implore you to stick around, smash the subscribe button, and let's get right into the tutorial. I'll be using these beautiful prints for this tutorial, and I'm starting first with the skirts. I have folded my material a little on a bias to help the skirt drape better on the body. I'll go ahead and cut out all my pieces. Here are all my pieces cut out: the sleeve and the band, the bodice for the front and the back, the skirts, and the collar. In the pattern drafting video, I used 1.75 for the height of the collar, but I increased the height to 3 inches here, which was practically very high, and I ended up reducing it somewhere along in the video. I'll go ahead and join the front and the back bodies at the shoulders, run my basting stitch at the waistline for the front and the back, and gather it. I have joined the front and the back bodies at the shoulders and gathered their waistline. We'll move over to attaching the sleeves. In the pattern drafting video, I used one pattern for the front and the back sleeve, so I will trim off the back sleeve so that I can cut the front side of my sleeve. I have cut the front side of my sleeve. I put this contrasting cloth to show you the front side of the sleeve. I'll go ahead and run a basting stitch at the hem for both sleeves and gather it. The hem of both sleeves has been gathered. I'll go ahead and attach them to the bodice. In the pattern drafting video, you saw how I drafted my sleeve, and as you can see, everything fits perfectly. So you might as well give my method a try. I'll go ahead and run my stitches, clean off raw edges, and I'll stitch close the side of the sleeve down to the bodice on both sides. I have stitched close both sides of the bodice, and I left some space on the sleeve for the attachment of the band and on the waistline for the attachment of the skirt. This is what the bodice of our dress is looking like at the moment, and we'll be attaching the collar next. The height of my collar is 3 inches, and I have interfaced it with a lightweight interfacing. I'll go ahead and prep it, trim down the seam allowance, notch cuff corners, and top stitch on it. The collar is ready for installation, and I have attached it to the neckline with pins. I'll go ahead and sew this up. This is what the upper part of the dress is looking like. It's already taking shape, but I think the collar is way too high for me, and I'll be reducing it. This is the lower part of the dress, the skirt part, and here I'm measuring to sew in the darts. The length of the front dart after modification is 6.75 inches, but I'll be sewing at the original dart length of 4 inches. This is because I did not add ease on my hip circumference on my pattern, and I'll be wearing this dress with a collar because it's really cold right now. So in order for it not to be too tight, I'll be sewing at the original dart length of 4 inches. Other than that, just sew in your darts. If you're making yours with darts, run your basting stitches for the front and the back on all sides of your pieces and gather it. I have sewn in my darts. I have run a basting stitch on all sides of the pieces for the front and the back. I have also added a lightweight interfacing at the hem of the skirt to give it a little stability. I will go ahead and gather all these pieces to the length of the original skirt. I have gathered all my pieces to the length of my original skirt and I have secured the gathers with a straight stitch. To secure the gathers with a straight stitch, first you ensure that you've gathered it to the length of your skirt by measuring it, and for me I have 20.75 21 inches. Once that is confirmed, while sewing the gathers, stretch out the fabric to see how the gathers form and to see if you need to adjust the gathers. Once you're happy with how it is formed, then hold down the gathers with your fingers so that the sewing foot of your machine does not shift the gathers while you sew. Please ensure you run this stitch twice on each piece to properly secure the gathers. Remember, you're not using rope or elastic. So I have sewn all my pieces and secured the gathers. I'll go ahead and join my center front skirt. I have joined the center front of the skirt and this is what we have. The gathers are looking good. I'll go ahead and attach this to the upper part of the dress. I have attached the front and the back skirt to the upper part of the dress with pins. I'll go ahead and sew them up. So this is what we have. Our dress is already taking shape. Please ensure you sew the sides properly. You can run 2 or 3 stitches on the sides just to secure them properly. I'll go ahead and install our zipper. I have pinned in my invisible zipper and this was the longest zipper in my storage. It didn't go up to the neck collar, so I had to improvise. The zip has been installed. I have reduced the height of my collar to 2.25 inches and overlocked the lining. Because my zip didn't get to the collar, I'll be using this elastic and beads for the collar closure. So I'll go ahead and prepare the elastic for the loop. I have prepared the loops from this elastic. You just cut the desired length of the elastic, sew them in place with your needle and thread or tie them with thread for easy installation. I'll place them like this on the collar on the zip allowance line or seam allowance line. I will tack them down first to hold them in place, then I will sew it closed with the lining of the collar. I have tacked the loops down with a straight stitch. I will go ahead and stitch it closed with the lining. This is what your loop will look like when you are done. I'll go ahead and stitch close the other side of the collar. This is what our neck collar looks like once it's done. You just go ahead and add your buttons or your beads, whatever you're using. And to finish off the collar, I'll be using a stitch in a ditch. This will give me a seamless finish on the right side of the collar. I have finished off the collar and it came out very nice. With stitch in a ditch, the stitches will not show on the right side of the collar. I will go ahead and attach the band of our sleeve. I have added a lightweight interfacing on one piece of the band and I will start first with the lining of the band. To attach the band to the sleeve, I will pin the right side of the band to the wrong side of the sleeve with pins and run my stitches. I will then attach the interface side of the band to the lining first at the hem of the band, trim down the seam allowance and top stitch on it. At this point, I will mark my seam allowance on the right side of the band where I will be attaching the loops so that I can align my loops correctly. So at the top of the band where the band will be joined to the body of the sleeve, I came down 0.25 inch for my first loop and pin it in place. From this point, the space between each of the loops is 0.75 inch. So go ahead and space yours the way you want. Once I have pinned the loops in place, I will run a straight stitch to secure them. Once that is done, I'll go ahead and sew close the band just the same way we did for the neck collar, top stitch on it and top stitch along the loops to get them properly secured and add my beads. This is how your band will turn out, and this is how you're going to align it to add your button, beads or whatever you're using as your fastener. I'll go ahead and add the beads, finish off the hem of the dress, and I'll show us the final result. Here is the finished look of our dress. It came out beautiful. I am happy with my results. I will let you guys see for yourselves. And that's practically all there is to this tutorial. If this tutorial was helpful to you and you learned something new, please do not forget to smash the like button, turn on your notifications, share with your friends, and join the family. Leave all your questions in the comment section, and I'll see you all very soon. Bisous bisous!